May I present the mini cake? This dessert is so decadent that it begs the question, why? If we're shrinking the portions and a few calories, then we'll need to intensify the flavor packed into each bite. We begin with the Dobos cake, a Hungarian sponge cake made with almond paste. Dobos is mixed using the separated egg sponge method. Whole eggs are separated and the yolks are combined with an almond paste, sugar, and butter mixture. Consider using caster sugar or baker's sugar. The superfine sugar dissolves easily when creaming with butter or making French meringues. Slowly combine sugar and almond paste using a stand mixer, or go natural by rubbing the mixture between our fingertips until it resembles the consistency of dry oatmeal. Add egg yolks, 2 at a time until smooth, and continue to beat for another 5 minutes while occasionally scraping down the bowl. Use a clean metal bowl free of any residual fats and no trace of egg yolks in the whites. A tiny bit can ruin the meringue. We're always going for a fluffy, light meringue with glossy, stiff peaks. There's some science that makes our goal possible. Begin with room temperature egg whites, whipped to a frothy consistency. We're trying to capture as much air and volume as possible before adding sugar. Sugar slows the unfolding and aggregation of protein molecules found in egg whites, but undissolved sugar crystals weigh down the meringue and weaken the structure. Adding an acid, such as cream of tartar, early in the whipping process further stabilizes the meringue by lowering the pH and creating a flexible and stable protein network against over-whipping, folding, and baking. Lighten the batter by folding a quarter of the meringue into the cake base. We call this technique sacrificing, or lightening the consistency of the batter before folding in the meringue. A sponge made with cake flour will be light and airy. Cake flour has about half the protein and less gluten formation than all-purpose flour because maturing agents are added to weaken the gluten and give the flour a snow-white appearance. The French meringue gets gently folded into the almond batter and then divided between 3 quarter-sized sheet pans. The addition of almond paste produces a moist cake with an amazing almond flavor. Smooth the top without deflating the cake batter. A helpful tip is to avoid greasing the sides of a pan when making a sponge that uses a French meringue as its only leavener. We'll want the cake to cling to the sides of the pan during the rise. Make sure to subscribe because we'll bake other cakes and we'll discover that the same rules do not apply for all cakes. 160 degrees Fahrenheit is an important temperature for pasteurization. A bain-marie is a gentle cooking process that allows the egg white to heat slowly, dissolving the sugar and killing off any bacteria, like salmonella found in eggs. Egg whites will begin to coagulate or cook between 140 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit, but the addition of sugar raises the coagulation temperature. Don't let the bowl make contact with the simmering water and continuously mix while over the heat to avoid cooking the egg whites. This process can take up to 10 minutes or longer. When the weather is warm, replace some of the butter with vegetable shortening. Vegetable shortening is solid at room temperature because its carbon atoms are fully hydrogenated and therefore remain solid at higher temperatures. Professional bakers use this trick extensively. Flavoring buttercream can be wonderfully experimental. For this mini cake, mix espresso powder with enough water to create a thick paste. Add more or less espresso, or any flavor that you fancy. You can't go wrong, so you be you. The only advice is to avoid adding dry powdered flavorings directly to the buttercream. You should always make a slurry using a liquid mixed with the powder so that the consistency is similar to the buttercream and incorporates evenly into the frosting without clumping. Once the cake has slightly cooled, depan by running a knife around the edge. Cake syrup is a trade secret that produces a moist cake. Bring water and syrup to a boil and stir until sugar is completely dissolved. Soak the coffee cake with the syrup. Spread a 1/4 inch thick layer of buttercream on the sponge. Repeat for all 3 layers. Once the cake is chilled, use a round cutter to punch out 18 cake rounds. I'm fond of a 2-inch round that's 1.5 inches high, but again, you can use whatever meets your fancy. Frost the sides of each round with our buttercream. I go the extra mile by masking the sides with roasted, unblanched, crushed, sliced almonds. A small round tip works wonders for piping a zigzag across the top of the cake. To add a little variety, switch over to a small star tip and pipe a reverse S in the top middle of the cake. Garnish with your favorites. I've gone with finely crushed pistachio, a chocolate-covered mocha bean, and a pearl of apricot jam in the centers of the S. Oh my gosh, these cakes are kind of ridiculous. I think I spent about 5 hours. Oh man, why do I do this to myself? Please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You'll give me the encouragement to keep making more videos so we can bake along together.
You bake it yourself?
I did. If buttercream becomes loose, refrigerate or submerge in an ice bath to slightly stiffen. Okay, I think I just don't like this. Begin to coagulate or cook between 100 and 100. Ugh, I want to redo that one. Sorry.